Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever walked away from a simple touch and felt something you couldn't explain? A handshake that lingered in your mind, a hug that felt heavier than it should, a brush of fingers that made your chest tight for hours. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will change how you see every interaction with a woman from this moment forward. And before we go deeper, subscribe and like this video, because the things we talk about here aren't said out loud in the real world. You've been told touch is physical, surface level, mechanical. But for women, touch is rarely just touch. It's emotional data, psychological information, a silent language most men never realize they're speaking. When a woman feels physical contact, her brain doesn't only register pressure on skin, it scans intention, safety, confidence, hesitation, desire, emotional presence, all in a split second. You think you just placed your hand on her back. In her mind, something much deeper just happened. And here's the truth most men never hear. Sometimes the most intense reactions aren't visible. She might look calm, composed, unbothered. Meanwhile, her nervous system just lit up like a city at night. The first hidden feeling? Awareness. Heightened, electric awareness. The moment contact happens, her attention sharpens. Her breathing may shift slightly. Her thoughts pause, because touch pulls her out of logic and into sensation, into the present moment. That shift alone can feel powerful, even overwhelming. But here's the part that creates emotional unease. That awareness forces a silent question inside her. What does this mean? Not just about you, about her, about the connection, about where this could lead. Women are taught to manage reactions, to stay composed, to not reveal too much too soon. So while you see stillness, there's often a quiet internal storm of interpretation happening. And if the touch feels grounded, calm and certain, her body relaxes before her mind catches up. If it feels unsure, needy, or tense, her body tightens instantly, even if she smiles. This is why understanding touch isn't about technique, it's about emotional state. Because she doesn't just feel your hand, she feels you. You think attraction is built with words, compliments, clever lines. But touch, even the smallest, most appropriate kind, can trigger something far deeper than language ever could. And one of the feelings women rarely admit to themselves, let alone to you, is vulnerability. Not weakness, vulnerability. The moment physical contact happens, even briefly, a woman's emotional defenses don't shatter, they soften, just a little. And that softening can feel both comforting and unsettling at the same time. Because it means she's being affected. It means you got past the surface. That can be thrilling. It can also be scary. Here's what most men miss. Women are constantly managing safety, emotionally and physically. So when a touch feels calm, respectful, and unforced, her body sometimes relaxes before her mind gives permission. That gap between body response and mental control creates a quiet internal tension. She might think, why did that affect me? She might feel warmth in her chest, a slight drop in her guard, a sense of closeness that didn't exist seconds ago. And that closeness can feel intimate, even if the moment looked innocent from the outside. This is the hidden emotional shift. Touch can make her feel seen without words, and being seen is powerful. It means she's no longer invisible in the interaction. Her presence matters, her body reacts, her emotions stir. But here's the part she won't openly say. Sometimes that vulnerability feels almost too real, because once she feels it, she has to decide whether to lean in or pull back to regain control. So she may joke, change the subject, create space, not because she didn't feel something, but because she felt it clearly. Men often mistake this for disinterest. It's not always that. Sometimes it's emotional processing. She's asking herself if the connection is safe, if you're emotionally steady, if this feeling leads somewhere secure or somewhere chaotic. Touch, when it carries emotional presence, doesn't just connect skin. It invites emotional openness. And openness for many women is both deeply desired and quietly terrifying. There's another feeling that can rise in that split second of contact. And this one surprises even her sometimes. It's curiosity about herself. Not about you, about herself. A simple touch can make her suddenly aware of parts of her personality she keeps controlled. The calm woman wonders why her heart sped up. The logical woman notices emotion interrupting her thoughts. The independent woman feels the pull of connection and doesn't immediately know what to do with it. That internal shift creates a quiet question. Why did my body respond like that? Women are often taught to be measured, to filter reactions, to stay composed. So when touch brings out a response that feels instinctive instead of planned, it can feel almost rebellious inside her own mind. Not inappropriate, just unfiltered, honest, immediate. That honesty can feel intense. She may suddenly become more aware of how close you're standing. The space between you feels smaller. The air feels heavier. Her senses sharpen. Your voice sounds deeper. The moment feels slower. Her thoughts feel louder. It's not dramatic on the outside, but internally, something has shifted from neutral to charged. Here's the key part. That charge isn't only about attraction. It's about possibility. Touch can create a mental image of what connection with you could feel like. Safe, exciting, grounded, unpredictable. Her brain runs simulations in seconds. And that can feel dangerous in a psychological way. Because now the interaction matters more. Stakes appear where there were none before. Indifference disappears. So she might adjust her posture, cross her arms, step slightly back, or hold eye contact longer than usual. These are not random movements. They're signs of internal recalibration. She's managing the new awareness moving through her. Men often think women are mysterious in these moments. But what's really happening is simple. Touch briefly removes the mask of social routine. It brings instinct forward, and instinct doesn't speak in polite sentences. It speaks in sensation, emotion, and flashes of imagination. For a woman who values control, that sudden self-awareness can feel thrilling and quietly unsettling at the same time. Now let's talk about a feeling that most men completely overlook. A subtle sense of power. Yes, power. And it's not the kind you think. Not the loud, obvious dominance. It's quiet, hidden, psychological. When a woman experiences touch, especially a touch that is intentional yet calm, her body responds, her mind reacts, and suddenly she's aware of her own influence. The fact that your presence, your energy, even a single gesture, can affect her so profoundly, it awakens something deep inside. She feels a tension between being affected and maintaining control. That tension is intoxicating. It makes her notice how much she's capable of reading cues, feeling emotions, and processing nuances in ways most men never realize exist. She senses her own ability to impact the space around her, and it's quietly empowering. But here's the tricky part. She doesn't always admit it, because acknowledging it could feel exposing, almost like revealing a secret strength. So she may play it down, mask it with casual behavior, or even test boundaries slightly, consciously or unconsciously, to see how far that influence can reach. And men misread this all the time. You might interpret her subtle testing as flirtation or uncertainty, but it's often a mental game she plays with herself, measuring, analyzing, experiencing the effects of touch without letting the world see the intensity of what she feels. This hidden sense of power also ties into trust. When a woman allows herself to feel during touch, she's taking a risk. She's letting an emotional current flow that she doesn't fully control. That combination of risk and control, sensation and intellect, creates a layered internal state that is both thrilling and slightly dangerous. It's why some women pull away slightly, even when they feel drawn in. Their body wants connection, their mind weighs consequences, and somewhere in between, that quiet power flickers. She's aware that she can influence you just as you're influencing her, and that mutual tension is electric, even if invisible. Understanding this dynamic changes everything. Touch isn't just physical, it's a dance of influence and surrender, and recognizing the subtle power she experiences gives you insight into how deeply women process even the smallest interactions. When a man ignores this, he misses the psychology entirely, but when he sees it, the way she's quietly navigating her own strength and curiosity, he begins to understand the unspoken language of touch. And that understanding? That's where real connection begins. There's another layer most men never notice: anticipation. Not the kind you expect, not a dramatic build-up, but a quiet, simmering tension that forms in her body the instant contact happens. It's almost imperceptible, but it's there, a pulsing electric undercurrent that she usually keeps hidden. When a woman feels your hand on her arm, a gentle brush on her back, or a close proximity that lingers, her nervous system reacts first, long before her conscious mind does. Her heart rate may shift subtly, her breath might deepen, tiny muscles tense, and somewhere inside, a question sparks. What comes next? That question is psychological fuel. It's curiosity, desire, and caution, all wrapped into one. And the strange part, she may try to hide it, smiling, joking, even stepping back slightly. But internally, anticipation is already at work. Her mind begins running scenarios, imagining what a connection could feel like, and her body responds in ways she can't fully control. This hidden anticipation is why touch is so powerful. It doesn't just convey affection or attraction. It creates a sense of emotional momentum. She feels an invisible pull, a subtle energy that guides her attention and her emotions toward you, even if she's trying to remain neutral. That tension, that sense of what might happen next, is both thrilling and slightly dangerous. Men often misinterpret her slight movements as hesitation or disinterest, but in reality, her body is engaged, alert, and processing every nuance of your touch. Even a small, seemingly casual gesture can ignite anticipation that lingers long after the moment passes. And this is why a confident, steady touch can create impact far beyond what words ever could. Anticipation also forces her to confront her own feelings. She begins to notice subtle desires, hidden curiosities, or emotional responses that are new, unfamiliar, or surprising. That internal awareness can make her feel alive in ways that casual conversation or surface-level interactions never do. And here's the thing, anticipation is not about manipulation, it's about perception, emotional openness, and instinct. Women experience it automatically, often without realizing it. The key is that touch doesn't just communicate attraction, it sparks an internal dialogue in her mind, and that dialogue shapes her perception of you, of herself, and of the connection between you. When you understand this, you start seeing that touch isn't random, it's layered, psychological, and emotionally potent. And that's exactly why she might feel more in that brief contact than she lets on. There's something even deeper that women rarely admit, something almost taboo to acknowledge: desire. Not loud, not explicit, not obvious, but a quiet, pulsing awareness of wanting, a subtle heat that rises the moment physical contact happens. And it's not always sexual. Sometimes it's simply the desire to feel connection, to be recognized, to be seen in a way few men understand. When a woman experiences touch that resonates with her emotionally, her nervous system lights up, dopamine spikes, oxytocin flows. Even a simple hand on her shoulder or a lingering hug can trigger a cascade of chemical signals that makes her feel drawn in, attentive, alert. Her mind may fight it, trying to rationalize it, but her body reacts instinctively. And that is the tension you often notice but can't always read clearly. Here's the psychological nuance most men miss. Desire isn't about the obvious attraction. It's about resonance. It's about feeling seen and understood on a level deeper than words can communicate. When a touch feels safe yet intentional, she experiences this invisible pull, a magnetic sensation that's difficult to articulate. That pull creates an internal dialogue. Do I lean in or hold back? Do I let myself feel this or protect myself? She rarely voices this because acknowledging it can feel exposing, risky, even dangerous. Desire, in its quiet form, is vulnerable, and vulnerability makes women protective of their emotional state. Yet paradoxically, that same vulnerability can make touch intoxicating, because the moment her body responds before her mind catches up, she becomes acutely aware of the sensation, the emotional rhythm, the unspoken communication happening between you. And that awareness, it's addictive, even if she won't admit it. This is why touch can leave her thinking about you hours later, replaying it in her mind. It's not always conscious attraction. Sometimes it's the deep, unspoken sense of connection that her body remembers, even if her mind tries to rationalize it away. So the next time you notice a woman subtly reacting to touch, remember, it's never just skin deep. Desire in women often hides in layers: emotional, psychological, instinctive, and understanding that hidden desire changes everything about how you interact, how you communicate, and how you build trust and intimacy without words. Touch, in its quiet complexity, is one of the most profound ways women feel, think, and experience attraction, even when they never admit it. There's another feeling that often goes completely unnoticed, and it's one of the most psychologically complex: reassurance. Women rarely admit how much touch can act as a silent confirmation of safety, respect, and emotional presence. It's subtle, almost invisible, but it registers instantly. When a woman experiences touch from a man, her subconscious is constantly asking questions. Is this safe? Does he respect me? Can I trust him? Even the lightest, most innocent contact can answer those questions in ways words cannot. A firm but gentle hand on the back, a steady presence near her, a pause that matches her emotional rhythm. These are signals that her nervous system reads as reassurance. What's fascinating is that this reassurance operates below conscious awareness. She may not realize it, she may not verbalize it, but her body does. Her shoulders relax, her breathing stabilizes. Tiny micro-expressions flicker across her face, often unnoticed. It's an internal acknowledgement. I am seen, I am acknowledged, I am safe. And here's the truth most men overlook. Women feel deeply, not just with their minds, but with their entire bodies. So touch becomes a language of trust. It communicates presence and intention far faster than 1,000 words ever could. That's why a hesitant or awkward touch can create unease immediately. It signals uncertainty, nervousness, or imbalance. When a man understands this dynamic, he begins to see that the smallest, most intentional gestures carry enormous weight. A touch isn't just physical, it's a form of emotional currency, silently building or eroding confidence and connection. That's why she might subtly lean into you or pull away, depending on how your energy matches your touch. Reassurance also interacts with her emotional guard. Women are naturally attuned to safety because vulnerability is always a risk. Touch, when grounded and consistent, lowers her defenses in ways that feel natural and effortless. That lowering of guard is not manipulation, it's instinctive trust, forming in response to your energy and presence. Understanding this makes every touch meaningful. It explains why some moments linger in her memory, why she can feel something powerful without a word being exchanged. And it reveals the hidden power of your own emotional state. Calm, steady, confident touch doesn't just connect bodies, it speaks directly to her subconscious, creating a sense of security and emotional intimacy few men ever realize exists. If you grasp this, you see that physical touch is not trivial. It's a bridge, a signal, and a silent conversation that women feel far more profoundly than most men ever imagine. Finally, there's the most hidden, most intense feeling of all: trust intertwined with surrender. This is the layer women almost never admit, even to themselves. It's that quiet moment when a touch, a presence, a subtle connection allows her to let go, just a little, and be fully present. Surrender doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean losing control. It means allowing her instincts, her emotions, her body's responses to exist without immediately censoring them. When she experiences this during touch, her nervous system relaxes, her mind quiets, and she feels a rare kind of alignment, body, mind, and emotion, briefly harmonized in response to you. This is why women often react subtly: a lean closer, a hand that lingers, a shift in posture. These are not conscious moves, they are instinctive responses to a feeling she rarely articulates. I feel safe enough with you to simply experience this moment. And here's the psychological truth. Surrender in response to touch creates profound emotional memory. She doesn't just feel the touch, she feels herself. She feels the connection. She feels the subtle rhythm of your presence, the way your energy interacts with hers. These moments imprint themselves, often in ways she can't explain logically, but remembers viscerally. This is also where desire, curiosity, vulnerability, power, and reassurance converge. All the hidden reactions we've talked about, the internal awareness, the anticipation, the quiet desire, the sense of influence, the emotional resonance, culminate in this surrender. It's not about domination, it's about harmony. It's about her allowing herself to experience a full spectrum of feeling in your presence, without judgment, without self-protection. Men often miss this entirely. They see the outside composure, the polite smiles, the subtle gestures, and think nothing significant is happening. But internally, she has navigated a psychological landscape, evaluating, sensing, responding, imagining, and ultimately allowing herself to connect. Understanding this transforms the way you perceive touch. Every gesture carries meaning, every pause communicates, and every subtle contact has the power to build or erode trust, intimacy, and attraction. Women rarely speak these truths aloud, but when you recognize them, you step into a space where emotional awareness, respect, and presence create a connection that goes far beyond the physical. Touch isn't simple, it's profound, layered, and psychologically intricate. And when you see it this way, you understand why even the smallest gestures can leave a lasting impression, one she may never tell you about, but will always feel.